Hey dudes and dudettes, here with a special Path of Exile preview video for you about my build, because Ola Sarcasm posted up on one of my videos and said, hey, I'm excited to see what you're doing with that build, how you changed it up and so forth, and talked about how he got 7.5 DPS, 7.5k DPS with Moroi Urki and stuff like that. So I wanted to show you a few things, because I know I've been not posting the build up, the full build video, but that's because I've not gotten it fully tweaked yet. I don't know what kind of sockets I'm using, even if I'm going to stick with Flame Golem, stuff like that. I'm still tweaking it around a bit, and I've used some regret orbs and stuff to make sure that when I release it, I want to make sure that it's really good for y'all. So right away, I want to show you the single target DPS is actually doing pretty well. It's 19,500, and that's because I forego the fire penetration gem for the 43% of physical damage is extra fire damage, which with the physical that I get, it increases that 43% more, 43% extra, and then it further gets increased with the negative resistance that we're going to be putting off, and with the elemental damage, so it gets that double up, and you'll see how much it actually adds. And the reason that my single target DPS is so high compared to the ones that use fire penetration, 7,000 DPS. I mean, one gem adding 7,000 plus DPS, and that's not including what you're going to be getting from the auras when you negative resistance monsters. That's not including the elemental overload, 40% more elemental damage, and stuff like that. So keep that in mind when you're making this build, that forgo fire penetration if you really want to push your single target DPS extremely high. And it really does help when you're sometimes stuck facing a single monster. You're pushing out some nice DPS. So I'm going to show you the auras that I use as well. I use flammability and a 20% elemental weakness. Any kind of quality elemental weakness minuses more off of their elemental resist. Here, if you see, it's minus 42%, but that's only because it's 20% quality. It adds 0.25 off of resist per piece of quality, so you're going to get 5% extra off of their resistance in the end. So that's, you can forego using flammability if you're not using the whole ignite them thing, and use elemental weakness instead, so it gets it all across the board. And that'll be a little bit useful if you ever do try to run parties, because anybody else running other elements will thank you. So I really wanted to run a quick map with you to show you exactly what the build is. It is 81, so these maps are going to be easy, but they were easy before 81, trust me. Your DPS, if you use Flame Golem, reaches over 20,000 just sitting here. And oh, I forgot to mention, we run Blood Rage as well, because your regen is so high that Blood Rage really has no real effect. I mean, you can see it draining like that, but when you're killing enemies and you have as much leech as I do, due to me taking the Pain Reaver, you're leeching back tons. It's a sick amount of leech. So let's get into this. This is monsters have 20% increased area effect and 40% elemental resistance. Won't matter. We're using fire, and even if we had a little bit of lightning resist, the resistance is going to be gone anyways due to the two auras. So we'll cast Blood Rage, and let's get right to this. Ooh, augmentation. You can see it has the gigantic AoE, and hits him all the way over there on the other side of the screen. Ooh, it's the slow zombies. Don't. Ooh, a Judgment Staff. That's an Orb of Chance. It runs the other maps the same way I've ran, tier 6 maps, and it treats them the same exact way. Everything explodes. You got to be careful of these birds, man. When they get those extra crits in, they can hurt. Silver coin. Ooh, chaos. We're getting lucky. You can see it's extremely nice. When I use the Enduring Cry, it just gives me the extra tankiness when I need it. I use it especially near bosses. And ooh, I hear a ghost. Let's see if we can't find him a rare. Nope. There. See, you don't exactly have to hit the ghost. You just have to get him near some enemies and then explode him. And you see it explodes. Sometimes they'll explode them off screen. So you got to check. You got to check back because, man, there's been times I'm running back through a map and I see like a currency that it dropped and I didn't get because it exploded them off screen. See, you don't have to specifically target something else when you run into a rare due to your single target DPS being pretty darn high. And with elemental overload, you can see there 35,000 with your orbs. So you're going to get up to 35,000 DPS consistently because you know, you have elemental overload a good amount of the time. You can see right there it just pops up due to your crit. The crit chances on this build is like around 24%. Yeah, 25 I was thinking, but it's 24. And I love running the Oasis maps. They're amazing. You just explode everything on there. And the unique version of Vol on that map is always surrounded, so you just run up, hit one, and he's just dead immediately. So far, the build has been hilarious to play, and I've had no trouble with anything. Ghost, where is it? There. Ooh, get away from those. By the way, you have 4,100 life. Yeah, so you're not doing bad on life, and there's tons of nodes you can go to add armor and life as well for the rest of the levels if you wanted to. The current accuracy is 89% chance to hit, so you have no trouble hitting and keeping up elemental overload. And ooh, strong box. Oh wait, are we near the bosses? I think we are, so let's grab these up here. And then you can see right there that as soon as you explode one, the bosses explode. Your damage with this build off of the explosions, I don't even know what it would be, but it's massive because I've exploded, like I said, the tier 6 bosses just splatter. So you'll have no problem running the maps with these. I am running high. I'm going to be running higher and higher maps as I build them up. But so far, I have just seen there are a few maps that have bosses that aren't surrounded, and those are a little tougher. But your single target DPS makes it viable that you can do those. And on these strong boxes, it's very fun. Because they don't even get a chance. Let's see. You can see I try to fit tons of stuff that I shouldn't be picking up into my pack. Boom, over there. Oh, and the Essence League has brought these in. I know some people like, I don't open them. They'll get me and stuff like that. But you never really need to worry much with these. Bring these up here if you want. Just let them all explode, and then he's dead. Remember to let them all explode, because if you hit him too early, it doesn't hit the main monster because he wasn't out yet. You really just walk through maps. You don't even have to cast your Blood Rage. You don't have to... let's see if these are good so I can get them out. Not good. You don't even have to cast your Blood Rage and stuff if you don't want to. You can just walk through. But the build is extremely powerful right now. The most important piece and the most expensive piece is 6 link, and it cost me 40 chaos to buy that. You could probably get it cheaper. You can use a tabula. I was using the tabula for the first level up. I leveled this build with this build. I didn't need to use Firestorm or another skill to level it. I used Infernal Blow all the way, and I zoomed through because when you get that tabula and you build up, these gems aren't extremely high level to start with, except for maybe increased area effect and maybe the elemental one, but you destroy everything anyways. I'll explain in the video exactly what to get to level up the build. The items, they're cheap and super effective, and I can show you something that leveled me all the way to Doriani's. You don't since you get so much single target and elemental, you don't have to worry about. You can tell my stuff's a mess. You don't have to really worry about too much elemental on the items until you get Doriani's. I use these two scepters there for a while to get to 75, and they worked well. So you're going to be leveling with this same skill, so you're going to be used to the play style of it. You're going to be exploding damn near everything on screen, and you're not going to have too much trouble in any of the maps that I've done so far, all the way up to tier 6. And I'm going to be doing those maps for you as soon as I get the build nailed down completely. I'll do this build versus every single map. I've saved back one of each map that I've gotten to, and I don't think this is going to be Uber Azaro, because Azaro is pretty hard for us Infernal Blows due to him not summoning enough enemies around himself and everything. So I don't think it's going to be Uber Azaro, or really even maybe Merciless Azaro, just because it's extremely bad for us not to have minions to explode on the enemies. So keep that in mind if you're going to play this, that it's not the best single target, though my build gives you a viable damage versus single target, good leech, and you will have way more life than this. The build will reach, probably by 90, it'll reach over 5k life. And so it's just an all-around very fun, extremely satisfying build to see things explode like that, and to I've faced bosses when I accidentally blew up the minions too far away, and I've faced them down by just hitting them with my single target and leeching. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Ola Sarcasm. I hope this shows you a little bit what you were wondering about and gets you excited for the full build video, because this build is pretty darn cheap. I can then really quickly run over what it is. I use Wind Scream, so I don't have to spend 6 points to get the extra additional curse. That's fine, because it does add 10% increased elemental damage, 15 LRIS, but it doesn't add move speed. So some people will want to switch these up and just go one curse, but that's up to you. One curse and one aura. You can do that and switch up the boots. And the rest is just life and resistance gear, and then Namahu Tiki, and really like 40 chaos. I paid like 2 for this, 3 each. It's going to be much less. It's tops. Spending all on pretty nice gear is going to be an exalt. So you're going to be just fine if you're not super rich. You can really farm up all that with the few videos I've showed you about getting chromatics and everything in the early game, and alteration orbs and stuff like that. By the time you get here, especially if you're lucky, you're going to farm up dang near enough to, by the time you reach 75, to deck yourself out completely. So look forward to more of this. I'm going to be I'm still, like I said, tweaking it, but I've got some ideas that I think are going to stick, and we'll make this build even better. And then when the full build video comes up, you can make it even for the next league. And trust me, this thing, especially once you get to level 75, it just buzzsaws through everything. Even before that, it was just destroying everything, but 75 with Doriani's, it really reaches a high point. Y'all take care. Hey, thanks for stopping by the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video or videos you watched, and if you did, maybe you do that whole like and subscribe thing, but only if you want to. And as always, take care, be safe, and be cool to each other.